Special shout out to one of my subscribers. This is dedicated to God's favorite. Good brother asked me a question that I had to really do some looking amongst elite scorers, three of the most elite scorers of their time, of their generation. We all know what happened to Trey. Ultimately, a slew of injuries kind of set him back. During his time, he was great. He was great. And he asked me who I thought was the best among Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, and Kevin Durant. Those three. And I had to think about that for a minute. And I was like, wait a minute. The first thought you think, oh yeah, it's Kevin Durant. After doing some research, I realized that yes, that's true, but you have to add the totality of their game. Like, I'm gonna start with who was the best all-around scorer, who had the most weapons, and then ultimately I'm gonna get to. I think I'm gonna end up moving this. Hold on, let me get this centered right because I just started doing this. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna stay on camera. All right, who I think was the best among those three? Honestly, Tracy McGrady probably was the most versatile one of all of them. You can make the argument Carmelo Anthony as well, but McGrady had the ball handling skills. He could pull up on a dime. He could shoot from outside. He had a great mid-range shot. He could dunk. He could probably get into the hole probably better than any of them. He was great going downhill. He could create offensively just about anything. He was decent defensively, but since we're just talking about scoring, T-Mac was great. He was great. When you look at T-Mac's field goal percentage, I looked up his field goal percentage. It's about 47% for his career, which is not bad. But when I look at Carmelo Anthony's aim, Melo just was a different kind of animal. He probably wasn't going to function very well within the offense. They used to call him the ball stopper because, it's true. Once Melo got that ball in his hand, it's going up. He gonna shoot it when he get the ball. He get that rock, it's going up. But Melo, he was an elite. He definitely is one of the most elite scorers of all time. I gotta give him that. He's probably the most elite scorer. One of them, not the most, but one of the most elite scorers of all time. He could just, he was just such a prolific shooter. He could just, he could shoot it from, his best shot was like just beyond the three-point line. Not quite on the three-point line, but Melo could shoot that ball like a foot in front of the three-point line. And he was a great three-point shooter, too, for his career. But, man, I used to love to see him hit those 15-footers, those 18-footers, like almost a shot, but not quite, out there, like at the top of the key. That Tim Duncan made famous. He could just, the ball, just the trajectory of the arc of his shot. I think Carmelo Anthony probably had the best backspin on the ball. I used to love to watch the replay and see Carmelo Anthony's hand. Whenever he would shoot the ball, the way that ball would just rest on his hand and he just let the ball go. Like if you ever doing teaching shooting clinics, like those the coaches, that if you're a coach and you have a basketball program, have your shooters watch Carmelo Anthony. Was a great shooter, but defense, no, yeah, he definitely. But we're not talking about defense, Raheem. But you're right. We're talking about scoring. Had that backspin that was just, he could let that ball just, it was just perfect. The arc was just, boom, right in, just mid-range jump shot. So I looked up Carmelo Anthony, his field goal percentage, Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady was 45, his is 47. Now get to Kevin Durant. Raheem, let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, I'm going to start over. Can you hear? If you can hear me, put a one in the chat. If not, I'm about to start this video again. Can you hear? Usually when somebody calls me, it usually goes out. Time is when I try to stop. Okay. So Kevin Durant he has a higher percentage. He's 50%, 50, yeah, 50%. I think it was 50%, a little bit over percent, which is outstanding from the field. Overall, his career over 50% from the field. Kevin Durant was one of the most prolific mid-range. Forget the three-pointers, but the mid-range shot. Kevin Durant puts the. I remember when he was on Golden State, he put the fear of God in the league. Because the minute that ball leave his hand, even when he was in Oklahoma City, like he was such a great shooter that Mark Price was a bad. Yeah, he was. You're right about that. Watch the cussing on this channel. Though. This is a Christian channel, so just watch the language. I appreciate you joining and talking to us, but that's one of the community rules on my page. Let's not use profanity. But Kevin Durant he was a great is a great shooter, and he just is just you talk about form. No, it's cool. You cool, man. You didn't know no better. He just his shot was great. Like he just another guy who had just automatically just his great form. Kevin Durant he's one of the most unguardable players that ever played the game. The fact that he's 7 feet tall, he's long, lanky. I forget what his arm length is. Oh man, don't get me lying. 7'7" wings, something like that. I mean, just incredible, incredible how Carmelo Anthony would be at the Pistons drafting him. I think he would have probably won. The Detroit Pistons were already great. They probably would have won multiple championships. Probably would have won multiple championships. I definitely believe that, without a doubt. But Melo and they all were great scorers in their own right. Who do I prefer? Carmelo Anthony, because he had that dating. KD, Kevin, Carmelo, as he got older, he started to ring chase just a little bit, but I don't fault him for that. In his late in his career, Kevin Durant in his prime went to Golden State. So I can't really respect a guy like that. But if I'm looking at the numbers and the efficiency, Kevin Durant is the greatest shooter of the three. He's definitely the most effective, the most efficient. But those other two guys, I mean, they're all elite in their own way. They all play the same position, and they all just really good shooters, and just fun to watch. Really, really fun to watch. I was a big T-Mac fan. I love T-Mac, his career, all that stuff. Def Lip Shrimp, versus KD. Yeah, you going way back. You talking about Def Lip Shrimp, man. You back in the early 90s talking about shrimp, man. Oh my God, Def Lip Shrimp. I ain't heard that name in a long time. But yes, he was also a prolific shooter and scorer and all that stuff. But out of those three, that's what my subscriber asked me, how I rank those guys, who I think is the better of the three. Definitely KD. But if I gotta have my pick a little, who do I like in the fourth quarter when I'm in trouble and the game is on the line and we trying to win and we going tit for tat, and I'm gonna go with Carmelo Anthony, because KD outside of Golden State Warriors, he had no ice water in his veins. He was not clutch. Maybe even T-Mac. T-Mac too he was a dog too, but T-Mac couldn't get out of that second round of the playoffs, man. First, second round, man. It's hard to give him any credit when it comes to that, because he just couldn't get out of the first, second round. And in all fairness, Melo struggled with that too. KD's been to the conference finals. He's been to the finals. He won a couple of championships. So probably his resume is the best, but at the same time, he was on a super team as well, though. So my choice, who do I like? Melo. Who do I like least? KD. But who do I got to get the credit to, with all bias aside? Kevin Durant. All right, y'all. Brandon Love Sports TV. This your boy. I'm out. Peace.